Greetings to us and welcome to another video. By the time of this recording, the Europe WCQ just concluded. Congratulations to Sunseed Jess with winning with her Rika Sonavalon strategy. The finals was a very decisive game. Everybody, I think a lot of players know that her opponent, who was playing Kashtira, had a really big advantage on that finals. I'm not gonna go into details of what happened. A lot of people who already saw the games already know by now. But I wanted to make a brief. Well, I don't know how brief this will be. This is probably going to be a lengthy discussion. But I wanted to make a discussion overall because the American WCQ is next week. I will not be attending the event. Unfortunately, I have a lot of life obligations. I have a lot of things that just hold me from going budget wise. However, I will talk about the deck choice I would have took for the event. I'll probably show like a potential side deck that I probably would have played. I'll play the extra deck, and I'm going to go with a lot of explanations because I feel that we're noticing a trend this format, and that trend is probably not gonna go away, and that trend falls for decks like the one I'm going to show. Um, Basically, what I mean by that is, as of late, we've been seeing more obscure rogue decks winning or topping events consistently. Just now, on the WCQ, like we saw Rika Sanavalon playing, and you can make the argument that Rika Sanavalon is like a full-fledged meta strategy that can be at the level of like the other more popular decks like Kashtira, Runic Life Twin, and Labyrinth. However, one thing that is very adamant and consistent with Rika's and Avalon's success is player knowledge. Not many people know how to play against the deck, and I feel like if you play a deck that people just don't know how to play around, that has like a lot of lines and has a really good ceiling, then your odds of winning the event are very like more than not. Um, and I feel like this would have been like a perfect deck for like an event like that one. Um, but without further ado, let's begin. If you've seen my older videos, this is almost pretty much the same Scareclaw Kashtira list. I'm not gonna go with explanations. You guys already know what to do if you guys want explanations. I made older videos on that. But yeah, pretty much almost nothing has changed. I could explain changes as we go along, but basically it's Scareclaw Adventure Kashtira. Like I'm still playing like the 10 Scareclaws. I'm playing the 7 Kashtira monsters. I'm playing like the adventure package, and I'm still playing Kurikara just because it's just my tech wild card. That like for the format, pretty much. Yes. Yep. I still max out on these. These like people to this day don't like experimenting with Kashtira outside of just plain pure Kashtira, and I really don't get it. Like I feel like the XYZ lock is not something really rough for you to like being implementing this into other decks. Um, so that's like my hot take on that. People feel free to disagree, but I've been preaching that for months now. Um, I had a discussion with a friend of mine, and he was telling me how the Brave package is like less and less impactful as each format comes up, and how in this format this engine is not as great as it used to be. My counter argument is for this deck specifically for Scareclaw, this engine is almost perfect. Like it doesn't conflict with your summons. It doesn't conflict with what you want to do with the deck. The adventure boss monsters are level 7, so it pairs up with the Kashtira monsters. But yeah, that's like so. I highly suggest testing this engine. Be it you playing Kashtira, be it you playing like a deck like this one. I feel like people are not respecting this enough. And again, we're seeing a trend of rogue decks winning. So just take into consideration like the existence of these cards. I feel like Talents is like top 3 card of the format. I think like this card should be in every main or side deck, no matter what deck you're playing. Well, you can make the argument for like slower decks like Labyrinth, but even then, I think this card is great. I'm still maining Thrust. I'm playing Terraforming. Foolish Burials is back in my main deck. Another discussion. People still don't like playing Droplets in their main deck because of the existence of a Rise Heart. Now there is a general consensus that you have to think about. Do you want to just play knowing that Kashtira is in the format, or do you want to play knowing that there could be a deck that you face against where this card is really good, and you might just fall victim into that deck? There are some trends running around where this card beats, like for example, the Ibli lock, for example, and like a few other miscellaneous strategies. So yeah, I'm not gonna say this is like a must-have. However, this card has won me more games than it has not, and ironically enough, this card has won me a few games against Kashtira, despite the existence of Shifter and Erase Heart. I'm playing Called by the Grave, and you can make the argument of playing or not playing this card. I feel like as long as Gimmick Puppet Lock exists, as well as Drone Lockbird, this card will be in my deck. When those trends disappear or become more uncommon, I could consider another card. And the Honorary Scareclaw Trucker. But yeah, my main deck has not changed too much at all. I would there's not much to report. Like I've been here and there on locals. This ratio hasn't changed. People to this day still don't know how to play around Tryhard. Like again, if you're going to the WCQ and you're still contemplating on a deck or strategy and you don't want to play something that is going to be common or targeted, this is a really good choice because not many people know how to play around this card. And this card just wins games on its own. If you are going to play this deck, I feel like Asa and Dark are really good. I feel like the Charmers are just blowouts in this deck. Just being able to take Fenrir's or take a Rise Hearts or take like Labyrinth monsters. If you end up playing against like a rogue deck like Madolce or Maverno Self or Adamancipator, also is good for those. If you're playing against like something like Earth Machine, which did top 16 at the WCQ at this last one, also is also really good. Like taking their Citadels. Yeah, like this deck, at least the way I built it, rewards you for player knowledge. If you end up playing a super heavy samurai, yeah, like I could be all day talking about everything this card can be used against. It can be even used against the Rika Sonavalon deck that just won. Like they do have a lot of earth plants, so this also works against them. Yeah, I don't think I'll talk a lot about Asa, but Unicorn, Access, Goddess. This is another card you should be considering in your main or side. As some people know, Added Nisters got second place at the YCS. It's not common for that to happen. However, you have to respect the matchup. You also have to respect like towers, monsters as a whole, like Tryhard itself. Um, just to give you a brief example. So yeah, um, like for example, I think a really good deck that can play this card that I don't see people play, it's the Runic Life Twin deck. Like this is a fiend, so it doesn't lock, so it doesn't conflict you with the twin lock. This also gets rid of like untargetables like Dragoon and like Mud Dragon of the Swamp, stuff that like, or Avramax, stuff that like really stops your deck. So yeah, that's another card to talk about. Big Eye Rise Heart, that's common. Um, Chaos Angel, Baron, and Astra. I faced an Exosister player a few days ago. He was playing the YCS list, almost card by card. And I did a 1 card OTK because of this card against them. Um, Pretty much, I can show you the OTK. Pretty much what you do is, well, what my scenario was, he had the Magnifica, and I had the droplets, and I also had Reichert. I had droplets and Reichert, and he had one back row, which I had Cosmic for as well. So basically what I did, I negated the Magnifica, I normaled, summoned the Reichert. Reichert effect added me Scareclaw Arrival. I linked away the Reichert. I made Lightheart. Lightheart search for the field spell. Lightheart search for Rhyphobia. I activate Rhyphobia. Rhyphobia added me Visa Starfrost. I activate Visa's effect. I pop the Lightheart. Lightheart effect bring itself back from grave since you control Visas. I activate Arrival. Arrival brings back the Reichert. Reichert and Starfrost made Chaos Angel. You do not activate Chaos Angel's effect to banish a card. You don't banish the Magnifica. Instead, what you do is you banish these two from grave. You summon the Astra, and then with Astra you pop the Magnifica. It gained 4300 attack, and then it's 44, 35, and 5k, and 500, and that's over game. So yeah, this is a very scary deck. I think, like as people learn more and more, you'll understand that there are a lot of lines. There's a lot of intricacies with this strategy. Shoutouts to Triff Gaming, Pendulum God. He's currently piloting this deck. Not the same build. He's playing like more cards and he's playing like other engines. But the bare bones of his deck is the Scareclaw and the Adventure package. So at least one person, you can expect at least one person to be piloting this deck at that event. For sure. But yeah, there's not too much to talk about. Like, this is not, like, this is pretty much the same deck I've been playing for a couple months now. But I've been doing very well at events with this deck because not many people know how to play against it. And that trend is starting to pop up more in more top tier events. So I think something I'll be doing this week, expect a few more videos, is I'll probably do like a combo guide with stuff that I've already been doing with this deck. I already showed you the 1 card OTK with the Reichert, which is one thing to take note of. I already made videos in the past showing stuff that you should be playing, like board scenarios with this deck, but it's not a bad idea to like refresh people's memory or bring back like other intricacies with this, because I'm not saying that you will see this deck at the North American WCQ. What I am saying is, if I were to play at that event, this probably would have been the deck of choice, and I'm not guaranteed that I would win the event. Like for all intended purposes, I could end up like X3 and drop, or just go to side events and not do super well. However, player knowledge is becoming more and more important in this format. Like a lot of player skill is very, very important. A lot of obviously drawing the right cards at the right time is very, very important too. Not breaking is also very, very important. So like just having your deck built properly is very, very important. However, like it's still really good for you to be as knowledgeable as you can with all the decks that have been doing well as of late, because the last thing you want in this format is just you going to an event thinking you'll be facing Kashtira all day, and then you just end up losing to Earth Machine or to this deck or to like Rika, or like who even a flow under Reese player can beat you and can win the whole world as event if they have a good day. I'm not taking anything out of Jess's success. She's a very, very, very good player. She is, you can pretty much say she's the best plant player ever. She even might have the chance to win worlds. Like she has a deck slash strategy that is not hindered by the worlds list. Not many people are knowledgeable against that deck, and something else to add is that like a lot of players that have won their nationals, a good amount of them did play Kashtira and they played Sprite, and those decks are hindered. So like, and they have pretty much two game plans: either find an optimal way to play their strategy even with the world's hits, or pretty much just try to play another deck that they could be as knowledgeable with. But yeah, that was a little bit of rambling. I hope that you found this informative. I expect more videos like this coming very soon. Like the world season hasn't ended, and there's a lot to do. There's a lot to talk about. And knowing the Yu-Gi-Oh player base, there's a lot to complain about as well. But we ain't going to get there. We're not going to that degree. But yeah, keep practicing and keep dueling.